was a race really fun. I managed to reach the second place.
For me, the G1 series is really how racing should be done. It's the best place to race professionally, but still keeping close control over the costs.
Driving the G1 is amazing because it's a really powerful car. It's really easy to drive, so you feel immediately connected with the car. La macchina G1 è una macchina estremamente competitiva, anche messa a confronto con le altre categorie, più veloci di un Formula Renault e di un Formula 4.
The braking performance is amazing as well. It's a really good car. I enjoy driving it.
The technologies that Griiip provides me is what makes the series so special. I can access all my data at all times.
And I can also compare the data to other drivers, so I can find my weak points, but also my strong points, and you can improve a lot on the track.
L'altra tecnologia estremamente importante e innovativa è quella relativa alla visibilità, in cui i fan non solo possono seguire la gara live, ma possono seguire il loro pilota preferito grazie ai camera car, grazie alle videocamere che sono installate su ogni vettura.
One of the most unique things in the G1 series is the virtual races.
For every race, we actually race in the same track with the same drivers. When we get to the track, we can get the best out of it.
It's the only series that combines both virtual races and real races in the scoring system.
La G1 Series è un campionato estremamente interessante per tutti quei piloti che vogliono passare dal karting alla monoposto.
For the cost of a karting season, the G1 Series is one of the best places to improve my formula skills before moving on to next levels.
It was truly an amazing year and I just can't wait for next season.
It took 5 days to get client feedback. Now James only has 5 hours until launch. With Fiverr, it only took him 5 minutes to find Stephanie. Fiverr. Connect to a freelancer in under 5 minutes.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Griiip G1 virtual series. This is round 3 of the championship and we are at the Circuito Tazio Nuvolari in the province of Pavia in Italy. We have a couple of very exciting races coming up for you today. We're currently in a 20-minute practice session and then we will have a 10-minute qualifying session to determine the order that they will start in of the first of our 2 races. Currently, Enzo Benito has the initial pace with a 1 minute 10.840, which is over 4/10 of a second faster than anyone else at this point in time. He is going to take some beating. Second place at the minute is Yaron Stern, current overall championship leader, followed by Davide Delara, Miguel Matos, Deckel Nar, and Davide Vittori. So that's how they stand at this point in time. Still just over 5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. So if I can find someone who is potentially about to start a lap, let's go on board with Davide Delara and show you a lap of this Circuito Tazio Nuvolari circuit, named after the famous pre-World Grand Prix driver from Italy, Tazio Nuvolari. Round turn 1, it's a relatively long right-hander, purporting to get over the curb but not beyond it. Then turn 2, a little bit wide there for Davide, but keeps it all nicely under control. Then we go into the left-hand hairpin at turn 3, the tightest corner on the track so far. That's a little bit slidey on the exit there, but okay. Up through the hill, turn 4 is to the left, and then to the right. You have turn 5 before braking into turn 6. Turn 7 will be another left-hand hairpin. The second sector mimics the first sector, but it's not exactly the same. And you need to know exactly where you are on track and exactly how to position your car for the next couple of corners. We then have a couple of tricky S-bends towards the end of the track before a long turn 11. With some grass on the outside that's just waiting to catch you. And as you go down the start-finish straight, you watch to see what your time is. And for Davide Delara, it's no improvement that time around. It was a 1:11.398 that we just watched, which is about a 10th of a second. Oh, sorry, it was a 1:12.289, so that's almost a second off what he's capable of. And we know that he can go plenty quicker than that. Meanwhile, Miguel Matos is improving by about 1.7 seconds in the opening sector, according to my Delta time. That's quite something. He is about... Okay, never mind. His Delta time has suddenly started to drop off. That's kind of confusing. And now he makes a mistake and goes into the gravel. So potentially quite a lot more to come from Matos. Davide Vittori also going for a spin despite setting his his personal best first sector. And it rejoins the track looking rather sheepish. So less than 3 minutes remaining in this practice session now before we head into the 10-minute quali to determine the starting order for the first race. Enzo Benito, of course, if you remember, was completely dominant back at Road Atlanta. Won both races when we broadcasted that, despite a little off towards the end of race 1. He was pretty much untouchable and looks to have the same kind of form today, but that does not mean, by any means, that it's a sealed deal. Motorsport is always unpredictable, which is something I always like to remind people. And even when it looks like one driver is going to run away with it, that's not often the case. I was commentating an endurance race earlier on, where a car was leading by 8 laps and ended up losing by 2. So things can change in the blink of an eye in motorsport. And Benito, although he appears to have the pace over his opposition today, and although he's obviously the fastest car on track, needs to actually bring it home and seal the deal, actually deliver the result. Otherwise it doesn't count, and only the race order counts in terms of points towards the championship at the end of the day. So in about 1 minute time, we're going to see the checkered flag for this practice session. it's pretty clear what the initial order is at this point in time. Benito followed by Stern, Dallara. Nara and Matos are a bit closer together in terms of times. And then Vettori is in 6th position, trying to catch the pack. That's the provisional running order, but it doesn't mean anything unless you can deliver that in qualifying or the race. Practice doesn't directly influence the race result or the grid order in any way. I have the feeling actually that Vettori is capable of going several seconds faster than what he's already done. And I'd love to see his actual pace. Just appears that he's made a couple of mistakes every time he's tried to set a lap, and I don't think he's yet set a representative lap time. His first sector's about 2 seconds off Benito's best, about 2.2 seconds off. So he's made another mistake in the second sector there. It appears that Vettori is struggling a little bit, but I still wouldn't be surprised if he can knock several seconds off his lap time. Maybe even on this lap, despite the mistakes we've already seen. He's the only driver still on a flying lap, I think, as we have the checkered flag out now. And Vettori exits out of the final corner, comes across the line, and indeed, it is a 1:17.084. So that is the end of the practice session. In just under 2 minutes, we will get underway for qualifying. And the order was Benito with a 1:10.840, followed by Stern with a 1:11.283, Dallara with a 1:11.398, then Dekelna, Miguel Matos, and Davide Vettori rounding out the field. Qualifying is the important session, though, the first session that can really make a difference. I'm not expecting it to make too much of a difference, since this circuit isn't one where you really struggle for overtaking. There are quite a few heavy braking zones, and also that long straight as well. However, it does make a difference, and small differences can sometimes be huge in racing. Hello to everyone tuning in on YouTube or Facebook. We're live on both, and I will be trying to read out during this meeting. Albano Matos says, I really should have translated it before I started to say that. Sorry. Taylor Jundy says good luck. Good to see that. Also good to see Albano tuning in, as well as Yarev Gilat. Welcome into to all of you, and I hope you enjoy today's racing as much as I do. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Highly entertaining. Racing always is. And sim racing especially when it's with the Griiip series. So qualifying is go now. Out onto the track, head the drivers for the first time. I think Enzo Benito made it out of the pits first, so he is going to be the first driver to start a qualifying lap. Remember, we're looking for 1:10.8 for Enzo. That's what he set in the practice session, and that's what he knew his ultimate pace is. And unless it's faster, whatever the case, we know full well that he can achieve a 1:10.8. That's going to be the target for him at the start of this qualifying session. Also on track at the minute, Matos, Dallara. In fact, I think everyone is on track. Yes, we are. Okay, so all 6 drivers have not yet started a flying lap, but they've all gone out of the pits. And Enzo Benito is about to start his first flying lap now. So let's watch him here. Let's watch how the expert does it as he comes across the start-finish line to start his first flying lap in this qualifying session. Through turn 1, go from one curb to the next, and then the outside curb as well. Very smooth indeed. Enzo Benito, of course, is a sim racing champion from the F1 esports scene, and also went to race with the Race of Champions in real life, representing Team Sim Racing. He came from sim racing, but he's going into the extending into the world of real motorsport as well with the Griiip series. And this series attracted him, of course, because he can not only sim race with them, but also race with them in reality as well. Into the double apex left-hander, accelerated out over the curb. This is looking very smooth so far from Enzo. It's a 34.9 in the first sector. That's the quickest first sector we've seen today. Slight error as he bumps over the curb in the second sector. I don't think this is quite going to be his personal best second sector, but we shall soon find out. Crosses the start finish line, and it's a 1:10.970, so he can go probably about 2/10 faster than that if he really sets his mind to it. Still, that is going to be a tough lap to beat from Enzo Benito. Dekelna crosses the line and goes second with a 1:12.180. Jeroen Stern demotes him with a 1:11.659 as it stands. And that means that the gap between first and second at the minute is 0.689 of a second. Davide De Lara now goes third with a 1:12.099. So 4 drivers have set laps so far. We're still waiting for... Oh, Miguel Matos has made a mistake, so he's gone back to the pit, and he's coming out again. Davide Vittori is yet to set his first flying lap. However, his first sector is a couple of seconds down on our top guys, so I'm not expecting this to be a hugely competitive lap. Although he's about to cross the line and presumably go 5th. And he does indeed. So that's Davide Vittori's first timed lap. And with all credit where credit's due, it is... Oh, actually, I was going to say it was faster than his practice lap, but it actually isn't. Let's watch as Jeroen Stern attempts to improve on his flying lap. He's just about to cross the start-finish line. It's going to be close. And just misses out, no improvement. But he wasn't far off. What about Davide De Lara? He looks at risk of debuting Jeroen Stern here, actually. Crosses the start-finish line, goes 2/10 down on Stern, but does improve his own lap. He's now gone to a 1:11.788, has De Lara. So Benito, Stern, De Lara as it stands. Who's going to be the next to improve? Potentially De Lara, actually, as he appears to be going quite quickly in the first sector here. That's fairly smooth. Also, Miguel Matos has just started his first flying lap of the session as well. So I'll be keeping a corner of an eye on Miguel Matos as he traverses his first timed lap. Davide De Lara's first sector was an improvement, and I think he's launching a full-on attack on Jeroen Stern's time this time around. We're halfway into this qualifying session now, and it's still Enzo Benito leading from Jeroen Stern, Davide De Lara, Dekelna, Davide Vittori, and Miguel Matos, who hasn't yet set a lap time. Davide De Lara comes across the start-finish line. Is it going to beat Stern? It's close, but he just misses out again. It's a 1:11.682, so that is an improvement from De Lara, but he doesn't quite jump ahead of Stern for the time being. Enzo Benito goes fastest of anyone in the first sector, so Benito pushing again just to make sure he has a safety buffer. Purple's sector time means that he's gone faster than anyone's gone so far in this session. Through the S's towards the end of the course. Hooks it in for the final corner. I think this may be an improvement. It all depends on his exit. That's not a great exit. I think he's just going to miss out on improving his lap here, actually. Crosses the line, and it's just down, but only by about 100th of a second. Davide De Lara also just set his personal best lap in the... personal best first sector time. Slightly twitchy through the S's though. Here he comes through turn 11. And on the exit, this is going to be an improvement, and he might well jump out of stern this time. I know I've said that for the last 2 laps. And this time he yet again misses out, and yet again it's close. 111.676. They're separated by just 0.02 of a second, as near as makes no difference. And Delara will be getting pretty frustrated at that, I should imagine. What about Miguel Matos now? He's just about to complete his first flying lap. He's about to cross the start-finish line. Where does this put him? Matos goes P4. And of course, he was P5 in practice, so that is an improvement from him. He's in a little time trial scrap with Dekel Na, who does appear to be improving on his time actually, so Na may be about to jump him. Enzo Benito improves again. It's a 110.925, fastest of anyone, over 0.7 of a second faster than anyone else. That is fantastic from Enzo Benito. Dekel Na does not improve. It looks as if his time was an improvement, but it was invalid due to him cutting the track in places. Miguel Matos improves on his first sector time. He's in the second sector now. We only have 2 sectors on this course due to it being a very, very short circuit. But yeah, Miguel Matos looking as if he's going to give himself a little bit of a buffer over Dekel Na with this lap, and potentially drag himself slightly closer to the back of Davide Delara's time. However, Na is also improving on this lap, as is Benito potentially. Matos crosses the line and does improve, but stays 4th. Now I want to watch Enzo Benito as he improves on his time again. Across the line, this is going to be storming. And it's a 110.814. That's faster than his practice time. That's the fastest lap we've seen so far today. Incredible lap from Enzo Benito. And the final sector only took him 35.8 seconds. That's brilliant from Enzo Benito. Also a slight improvement there from Dekel Na, but he stays 5th. Now, who can challenge in the remaining stages of this qualifying session? Not much time to go, only 1 minute until the checkered flag falls. Matos is not improving with this lap. Delara and Na maybe. Na just about to complete his first sector time. Delara's was not an improvement, but only just. And Dekel Na's also not an improvement on his personal best, but only just. Either of those drivers could still launch an attack, and I think that the most significant of the two at this point in time, with all due respect to Dekel, is Davide Delara, as he is so close in terms of lap time to Yaron Stern, but makes a slight error out of the final corner. And he's going to get one more opportunity to go faster. Here he goes, final chance for Davide Delara starting now. Also, Dekel Na looks as if he's going to improve as he crosses the start-finish line now. Does improve, still stays 5th. He's just over 1/10 of a second off Miguel Matos. Now, what about Davide Delara? Can he get onto the front row of the grid? Can he challenge Yaron Stern? He needs to find just under 0.02 of a second. He's coming towards the timing beacon. Not a personal best first sector. Also improving is Davide Vittori, although I don't think he's going to be able to overtake anyone with this lap. Delara has more of a chance. That's a decent exit to that double apex left-hander known as turn 7. Out of the final corner comes Davide Delara now, and he's made a slight error. That's not going to be an improvement. He's 0.2 of a second down. So Enzo Benito takes pole at the Circuito Tazio Novolari. Yaron Stern will line up alongside him on the front row despite being 0.8 of a second back. That's just how dominant Enzo Benito was this session, with a 110.814. Fantastic from Benito. He is going to be so difficult to beat today. Davide Dallara is third. Miguel Matos is fourth. Deckel Na fifth. Davide Vittori is sixth. And that's how they will line up in just 1.5 minutes' time. Oh, sorry, that's how the session ticks over. And I believe we may have a 7th driver. I was just told that we have a 7th driver, but I don't see 7 drivers. I only see 6. If I could have an update on who that 7th driver may be, that would be very much appreciated. Hello to Eliav Rappaport, who says, amazing, good luck everyone. Indeed, this is an amazing series, and we wish the best of luck to all the competitors. Hope you enjoy it today. Okay, apparently we don't have 7 drivers. Looked as if we might, but unfortunately, we don't. Still, you can get a good race with just 6 drivers. Some of my favorite races that I've ever seen actually only had this many drivers. We had a DTM race with back when we were sim racing Malta, I think, and that was honestly one of the most amazing races I've ever seen. That was at the Nürburgring. And I remember a kart race as well that I saw in real life with just 6 races, which honestly had the most ferocious duel for the victory that I've ever seen in my life between 7-year-olds. So if they can race hard with 6 drivers, then absolutely we can. And I'm sure that that is what we're about to witness in just 4 minutes' time now when we get underway for the start of the race. So let's talk you through the runners and riders. Enzo Benito is on pole position. He, of course, is a sim racing champion, as I previously brought up, from the F1 esports scene, and has also raced Race of Champions and the real life Griiip G1 series. Of course, this is the same series as that. This is the official Griiip G1 series, and this is one of our virtual rounds. Yaron Stern in second place. He has come through the Griiip G1 series. He's been with us for a couple of seasons now, and tends to be one of the front runners in that league. He's also from Israel, so one of our 2 Israeli drivers on the grid. Davide Dallara in third position, also a Griiip G1 regular, as is Miguel Matos from Portugal. Deckel Na is another of our Israeli drivers. And then Davide Vittori is another one of our Italians. Vittori definitely appears to be stronger in real life than he is on a simulator, with all due respect to him. But good to see him out on track there, turning up and racing, and hopefully enjoying it. Because that is going to net him some points in the championship, and that is going to be some valuable racing experience for Davide Vittori. Those are our 6 drivers. The circuit is the Circuito Tazio Nivellari. I couldn't find much information about the circuit, unfortunately, but it's an interesting circuit layout, mainly used for bike racing. I understand it's in the province of Pavia in Italy. A couple of different layouts you can use as well, but we are using the full layout. And as well as being used for bikes, it is also used by the Griiip series, not just today, but also at this circuit in real life. The last round of the Griiip G1 series, in reality, was run at this circuit, so the drivers have experience at this track, and let's see if they can put it to good use today. In just over 1 minute now. So here we go. This is when the tension begins to build. This is when the drivers start to really think, okay, have I put enough fuel in the car? Okay, is my setup going to be good running in dirty air? Okay, is my start going to be adequate? But the best drivers, such as Enzo Benito, they will be able to keep themselves absolutely chilled, absolutely cool on the grid. Don't let the pressure get to them. Once again, the order is Benito and Stern on the front row, Dallara and Mathis on the second row, and Na and Vittori on the third row. An advantage of having this few drivers is that the back of the grid at the start really isn't that much further than the front of the grid. Any of these drivers could challenge for strong results today. Here come the lights. We're going to have 6 red lights. And when they extinguish, we will be underway for race 1 of 2 here at the Circuito Tazio Nuvolari. And go! Away we go! Down towards turn 1. Benito does not get the jump over Stern. Stern is up his inside and may well challenge for the lead here. Benito trying to hang it on around the outside line. That's where the more grip is. But if Stern can keep it on the inside, he has the better line for the next corner, and wide goes Benito. Yaron Stern takes the lead of the race. Third is Dallara. Fourth is Matos, yes it is. And then off in the background, who's gone off there? Davide Vittori? No. Oh yeah, it appeared that Vittori and Na both went off together and made slight contact as well. Now towards the end of the opening lap, Benito is right on Stern's tail. And this battle looks as if it could go the entire distance. Stern just needs to hold Benito off for 9 minutes. It's certainly doable, but it's tricky. We've seen just how much pace Benito has over the opposition here at this circuit. In the slipstream, this is where Benito's going to be strong. Stern moves across to cover him. Benito goes to the left-hand side. It's going to be the long way round into turn 1. This is just how they were on the first lap of the race, but with more momentum this time. Stern trying to keep himself on the inside, but this time Enzo Benito is able to go right around the outside of him. He doesn't meet the apex there, but it doesn't matter because Enzo Benito has taken the lead of the race. Stern drops to second, and Dallara comes around the outside now, tries to take a look for that second position, has to back out of it though. That's not a place where you can normally pull moves around the outside. Fourth place is Matos, and then it's Na and Vittori, and Vittori's had another spin there, I'm afraid. So we come out towards the end of the second lap of the race, and still Benito is hanging strong ahead of Yaron Stern. He's built up a second's margin already, just showing how fast Benito is at this circuit. And the main concern now for Stern is that he's coming under attack from Davide Dallara, who has the slipstream down the straight. He's going to be getting a face full of clear air created by that slipstream. I should say turbulent air, actually. Of course, turbulent air helps you in a straight line, as turbulent air is less dense than stationary air, according to the Bernoulli principle, and that's how the slipstream works. But that's also why drivers do not want to be running behind other drivers in the corners, because of course that turbulent air makes the car bounce around. It makes the aerodynamics unreliable, and that's also why it's difficult to follow until you're on a straight. We've got yellow flags waving. I think Dekel Na just had another spin, I'm afraid. And still the yellows are out, despite the fact everyone appears to be running on the road, so I'll ignore that for the time being. And continue to watch as Dallara lines up. Yaron Stern again gets back in the slipstream. He's not letting him get away. The gap remained fairly stationary on that last lap. Meanwhile, Enzo Benito, fastest lap of the race, it's a 1:10.787. That's faster than his qualifying lap. So he did have even more to give. And of course, the advantage of having a race as short as this is that you can just push its qualifying laps the entire way effectively. And that is a phenomenal effort there for Enzo Benito, as his two main rivals in this race fight behind him, Stern and Dallara. second and third. Still, Dallara not letting Stern get away, and Stern had a slight lock-up going into that turn there. And Dallara just needs to make sure he sticks with Stern, gets as close as he can in the corners, so he's close enough to attack with the slipstream down the start-finish straight. It's all going to be about getting a good exit out of the final corner here. And he's less than half a second behind him as they go onto the start-finish straight. Stern gets the better exit though. Another lap completed. And still Dallara not able to attack Yara and Stern just yet. Matas has dropped off the tail of them a bit. And it's very, very tricky. Because although this circuit isn't one of the hardest ones for overtaking, overtaking in a single-seater is always going to be difficult. Although the Griiip G1 car, of course, gives us the best racing that it possibly can. And as single-seaters go, it's a very good car, very fast. It's not that difficult to get used to, which is important since a lot of the drivers who race are amateurs. It's not that tricky in terms of setup, and the racing is close. And if you really want to, you can really push this thing to the absolute limit. At the end of another lap, Dallara has actually dropped back a bit from Stern. I saw him making a slight error on the exit of the S's. They gap about 1 second as they cross the start-finish line. However, Enzo Benito has really started to stretch his legs. Benito has now got a 3.3 second advantage there over Yaron Stern at the front. That's a big push from Enzo Benito. And he is pushing. He's not taking it easily. You can tell that by his lap time. The fact that he's actually going faster than he went in qualifying, not just as fast, is really quite something. It shows you just how much fun he's having out there, I imagine. Absolutely running away with it at this point in time. I say touching wood. Not that I'm superstitious or anything, but you know, you can never be too safe. Towards the end of another lap of running, we have just under 3 minutes to go in this race now. And Benito has a comfortable margin out in front. Hello to Oritz Itza in the Facebook chat, sorry, who says this looks great, and indeed it does. These fantastic looking cars, kind of retro single-seater looking, I'd say. It's like they're a cross between a classic Formula 3000 car from before the year 2005, and also potentially a Formula Renault Euro Cup car from before this year. About the pace of a Formula 4, maybe slightly faster than that. Slicks and wings, of course. And indeed, they do look great, they feel great, they race great. And yeah, full marks, thumbs up for the Griiip G1 car from my point of view. It's a good series as well. It's run very well, and you don't get many series like it in many places in the world. In fact, as far as I know, this is the first series to combine virtual and real life racing. So just 1.5 minutes to go now in this race before we see the checkered flag, and that will be the final lap of the race. Driver's still pushing. Miguel Matos just set his personal best lap of the race, despite being a little way back from his nearest competitor, Davide Dallara. And Enzo Benito is actually catching his first traffic of the race. That's Davide Vettori. He's going to have to get out of his way. Blue flags will be waving. And I think Vettori's going to go wide there. Oh, cut back across in front of Benito. a little bit of a hairy moment. Hopefully he'll give way to Benito. And there's contact! Oh my goodness! Vettori did not give way for Benito in the S's. There was side-by-side contact. They both got away with it. But my goodness me, Benito almost went off, and he is going to be furious with Davide Vettori. And they're fighting again down the pit straight. Vettori not backing off, not giving him any space. And now Benito goes through on the final lap of the race. My goodness, that was close. Very hairy situation there. Oh, and Vettori spins. Come on, he's got to wait for the pack to go past before he rejoins. Don't get in the way. There we go. And he gets away with it. Although Matos is now attempting to lap him as well. Meanwhile, Enzo Benito is well and truly on the final lap of this race, leading by 3.3 seconds. It's closer behind as Stern and Dallara are separated by just 1.1. But up in front, Benito has been, well, I'd say unchallenged. However, he was challenged, wasn't he? Aaron Stern got past him on the opening lap of the race, and Benito had to fight his way back through, so he didn't exactly have it easy. He very much had to work for this victory, and he's done it in strong form. Enzo Benito out to the final corner, and he is going to win the first of 2 races here today with the Griiip G1 Series, crossing the line. Fantastic from Benito. It's closer between Stern and Dallara, but Stern just holds on for second place ahead of Davide Dallara. The gap between the two of them was 0.8 of a second, I think. Matos is 4th. 5th is going to be Dekelna. And 6th, Davide Vettori. And the winning margin in the end was just 4.116 seconds between Benito and Stern. Well, I say it was just that. Actually, that is quite a significant winning margin, with Benito pulling out that amount of time in effectively, I'd say 8 minutes after he got past Stern. 8.5 maybe. But yeah, what a race from Enzo Benito. And well done as well to Stern and Dallara for taking the other podium positions. But don't go anywhere, because directly after this advert break, we will be back for race 2 of the Griiip G1 virtual race round 3. See you then.
A really good race, really fun. I managed to reach the second place.
For me, the G1 Series is really how racing should be done. It's the best place to race professionally, but still keeping close control over the costs.
Driving the G1 is amazing because it's a really powerful car. It's really easy to drive, so you feel immediately connected with the car.
La macchina G1 è una macchina estremamente competitiva, anche messa a confronto con le altre categorie, più veloci di un Formula Renault e di un Formula 4.
The braking performance is amazing as well. It's a really good car. I enjoy driving it.
The technologies that Griiip provides me is what makes the series so special. I can access all my data at all times.
And I can also compare the data to other drivers, so I can find my weak points, but also my strong points, and you can improve a lot on the track.
L'altra tecnologia estremamente importante e innovativa è quella relativa alla visibilità, in cui i fan non solo possono seguire la gara live, ma possono seguire il loro pilota preferito grazie ai camera car, grazie alle videocamere che sono installate su ogni vettura.
One of the most unique things in the G1 series is the virtual races.
For every race, we actually race in the same track with the same drivers. When we get to the track, we can get the best out of it.
It's the only series that combine both virtual races and real races in the scoring system.
La G1 Series è un campionato estremamente interessante per tutti quei piloti che vogliono passare dal karting alla monoposto.
For the cost of a karting season, the G1 Series is one of the best places to improve my formula skills before moving on to next levels.
It was truly an amazing year and I just can't wait for next season.
It took 5 days to get client feedback. Now James only has 5 hours until launch. With Fiverr, it only took him 5 minutes to find Stephanie. Fiverr. Connect to a freelancer in under 5 minutes.
Welcome back, everyone, to round 3 of the 2019 Griiip G1 Virtual Series. This, of course, the round from the Tazio Nuvolari circuit, named, of course, after the great pre-World Grand Prix champion Tazio Nuvolari. Come to think of it, I'm not sure he was ever champion. They did used to have a European championship back there. He got close to winning it. May have won it once. Never mind. Whatever the case, driver very famous for winning a lot for Alfa Romeo in the early years of Grand Prix racing, and at this circuit we have 6 Griiip G1 cars, driven by 6 furious competitors. We've just seen quite an exciting race 1 actually. And I know that the positions didn't change a lot in the latter stages of the race, but the first 2 laps, absolutely thrilling with Stern and Benito. My mind went blank there. Yeah, with Stern and Benito going at it. We are now in another qualifying session to determine the grid order for the second race. And the first driver to start a qualifying lap is going to be Yaron Stern. So here we go, a second chance to prove what drivers can do in terms of pure single lap pace. And Yaron Stern is going to be the first to demonstrate that. The Israeli driver, or one of our 2 Israeli drivers, I should say, going towards the end of the first sector. In terms of pure outright first sector times, Benito tends to do 34.9, Stern sets a 35.2, Benito sets a 34.9, so Benito once again on course for provisional pole, although Yaron Stern of course will set his lap first. Stern was second on the grid in race 1 alongside Enzo Benito, and goes off, so Stern unfortunately has to abandon that lap. Looks as if he may be trying to set up for another one. Benito is about to complete his first flying lap though. Comes across the start-finish line. Stern sets a, well actually that's invalid, Benito sets a 1:11.011. So Benito sets our first representative lap time, our first official lap time. Miguel Matos goes second with a 1:11.891. Not bad from Matos actually. Still an 0.8 of a second gap to Benito ahead though. And to be honest, I'm expecting Benito to take pole here, but as I said before, motor racing is unpredictable, and you can never quite say for certain. Still, even the lap he just set there, the 1:11.011, is going to be pretty tough to beat, despite the fact we know he can go 0.3 of a second faster at least. So drivers still not yet to set a lap include Stern, Vittori, Nat and Delara. In fact, don't just include those guys, they are those guys. Stern coming out of the final corner, about to put in his first flying lap. His first sector looked okay, not a personal best though. Crosses the start-finish line and goes second, 1:11.624. Sorry, 0.730, and he gets beaten by Davide Delara with a 1:11.624, so Delara goes second for the time being. 0.6 of a second behind Benito. And Delara, if you remember, was catching Stern all the way through the first qualifying session. He was putting in laps that were closer and closer to Stern's time, but wasn't able to quite jump him. Maybe this is his chance to finally get ahead of Yaron Stern and prove that he can do that. He's going faster still, in fact. His first sector time, 35.2. Benito sets a 34.8. My goodness me. Benito charging. So both Delara and Benito improving on their laps. There's about a 0.4 of a second difference in the first sector alone. Yet they're both very, very quick laps. Out to the final corner comes Delara. This is going to be an improvement. He's going to be in at least 1:11.5s, maybe even 4s. Crosses the line, and it's a 1:11.494. That's great from Delara. Less than half a second off Benito, but not anymore, because Benito goes to the top with a 1:10.759. It was only a matter of time until he pulled out a scorcher like that. And that is a blindingly fast lap from Enzo. Any hotter and it would cause a wildfire, my goodness. Enzo Benito to the top of the time, 7/10 of a second over Davide Dallara. Matos was improving, but he spins. So he's going to have to go around again for another opportunity. Still, Na and Vettori have not yet set their first flying laps. Na across the line now. And that looks like an outlap to me, so he's just starting a flying lap. Davide Dallara is improving his time again. We've got 4 minutes left in the qualifying session, and it's still Benito, followed by Dallara, Stern, Matos, and then the drivers not yet setting a representative lap time are Na and Vettori. So here comes Davide out of the final corner. This is going to be yet another improvement, and it's a 1:11.377, putting him just over 0.6 of a second behind Benito. Still second, but pulling away from Stern's lap time, giving himself a bit of a safety buffer. Decalna setting his first personal first sector, sorry, on his way to his first flying lap. He's been in a fight in terms of lap times with Miguel Matos all the way through this meeting. This looks to be, actually this is probably going to be quite close with Miguel Matos' time. He's going to cross the start finish line this time around, and does it go to fourth? Not quite. He missed out by just over 1/10 of a second. Meanwhile, Yaron Stern is improving his best time by 0.2 of a second. In fact, he's only 0.2 of a second off Benito. In the first sector, Yaron Stern absolutely flying. He's pulling a lap out of nowhere through the final corner now. This is looking great for Yaron Stern. I reckon he's going to jump up to second with this lap. He's going to gain half a second. Yaron Stern across the start-finish line. And it's a 1:11.152. That does put him second. Dallara is improving though. Where did that come from Yaron Stern there? My goodness. And that's actually less than 0.4 of a second off Enzo Benito's time. Just showing you how quick that was from Yaron Stern there relative to the opposition. Dallara here. Oh, his lap's been balked trying to get past Vettori. Vettori not obliged to get out of the way because Vettori is on a flying lap of his own, and that means that what he's doing here is perfectly legal. Although it has ruined Dallara's lap. Yaron Stern improving, and his first sector is in the 34s. Stern could be on for pole here. Oh, he's been hit! Stern's been hit! Vettori went off and rejoined straight into his side. And a lap that could have challenged Benito for pole. I don't think it quite would have done, but a lap that would definitely have been an improvement for Yaron Stern has been spoiled. He's been hit in the side. Spun it around, and he's going to be furious with that. Looks as if he's got flat-spotted tyres as well. He's going to have one more opportunity to improve on his lap. Here he goes, crossing the start-finish line. He didn't get the best of runs onto this lap though, so I'm not entirely sure that he is going to be able to take advantage of this. Decalna improving in the... well, he's just made a slight mistake actually, so it looks as if he was going to improve, but I don't think he will now. Through the final corner comes Na. Actually, that's a pretty decent exit, as it is from Miguel Matos, also improving on his time. Na crosses the start-finish line, and is this an improvement? No, not quite, just misses out. Matos, Dallara and Stern could all have a chance of improving their laps at the minute. Enzo Benito will not go any faster because he is in the pits, and he won't have enough time to get out there and start another lap, but it won't matter unless someone can pull something drastic out of the bag in the late stages. Miguel Matos crosses the line, does not improve, but only just misses out. Now, what about this scrap between Dallara and Stern? Dallara starts his final flying lap now. Stern is about to complete his final chance, and it's not going to be an improvement. He's 0.4 down. Decalna sets his personal best first sector of the session, so he could still improve and possibly jump ahead of Matos here. Oh, he's made a mistake. Okay, so oh, Dallara made a mistake, so Dallara spins that away. Let's watch Decalna. He's the only driver left in the session who could potentially improve on his time out of the final corner. He's attempting to get himself up into 4th position ahead of Miguel Matos. Pole is confirmed pretty much. That's Enzo Benito's alongside Yaron Stern on the grid. Na does jump up to 4th, so he does beat Dekal Na there right at the end. Does beat Miguel Matos there right at the end. And that means that the grid order is Benito, followed by Stern, Delara, Na, Matos, and Vettori. The 6 drivers in order, and we have a couple of minutes now until the start of race 2. Interestingly, Vettori already has a penalty from race 1 to be carried to race 2 for not observing the blue flag, and now he will get another penalty for that apparently. So will be reviewed after the race. Okay, so the stewards are on it, whatever the case. That's good to see. We do have a team of live stewards here today. Adrian Figallo, Justin Mifsud, and the guys with World Pro Racing did a fantastic job of running this series as always. I always look forward to World Pro Racing and Griiip Series events because they are so well run, especially by sim racing standards, and it's always a fantastic spectacle. Whatever's racing, whatever the case, in some way or another. And join us back after the advert break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back for race 2.
A really good race, really fun. I managed to reach the 2nd place.
For me, the G1 Series is really how racing should be done. It's the best place to race professionally, but still keeping close control over the costs.
Driving the G1 is amazing because it's a really powerful car. It's really easy to drive, so you feel immediately connected with the car.
La macchina G1 è una macchina estremamente competitiva, anche messa a confronto con le altre categorie, più veloci di un Formula Renault e di un Formula 4.
The braking performance is amazing as well. It's a really good car. I enjoy driving it.
The technologies that Griiip provides me is what makes the series so special. I can access all my data at all times.
And I can also compare the data to other drivers, so I can find my weak points, but also my strong points, and you can improve a lot on the track.
L'altra tecnologia estremamente importante e innovativa è quella relativa alla visibilità, in cui i fan non solo possono seguire la gara live, ma possono seguire il loro pilota preferito grazie ai camera car, grazie alle videocamere che sono installate su ogni vettura.
One of the most unique things in the G1 series is the virtual races.
For every race, we actually race in the same track with the same drivers. When we get to the track, we can get the best out of it.
It's the only series that combines both virtual races and real races in the scoring system.
La G1 Series è un campionato estremamente interessante per tutti quei piloti che vogliono passare dal karting alla monoposto.
For the cost of a karting season, the G1 Series is one of the best places to improve my formula skills before moving on to next levels.
It was truly an amazing year, and I just can't wait for next season.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Circuito Tazio Nuvolari as we wait for the start of race 2. It's going to be Enzo Benito first place on the grid as it was in race 1, although not by the same kind of margin, only just under 0.4 of a second between their lap times. Still quite significant though. Yaron Stern lines up second, followed by Davide Dallara, Dekel Na, Miguel Matos, and Davide Vittori, the 6 drivers that we have here today. Just 1 minute to go now until the race starts, and we send these 6 fantastic Griiip G1 vehicles around once again. Hello to everyone joining in, tuning in on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this may be shown. Good to see Giddy Cronin here says, go Dekel, starting P4. Indeed, Dekel Na starting P4, the second Israeli driver, hoping for a good result from here. Definitely capable of a podium, but we'll see what he can manage from there. So less than half a minute to go now until the start of race 2. We will get, once again, 6 red lights, and when they go out, we will be underway for the start. And 10 minutes of the Circuito Tazio Nuvolari in Italy. Here come the lights. It's when they extinguish that we need to look for. The revs rise, the heart rates rise, and go! Away we go. The driver's at the front. Stern doesn't get as good a start as he did in race 1, and Benito appears to have the jump into turn 1. He does. He goes around the outside, and there's 2 cars going off in the background. 2 cars are spun, and it's Matos and Na. So Matos and Na are both off at the back. Benito leads from Stern. Benito's going wide. Stern's up the inside of turn 2. Tries to keep it on the outside for the hairpin, but Benito will have the inside. And Benito keeps that place for now. That could have been Stern's last chance, but we'll see. He's going to have to slipstream at the end of this lap. That means that I think Davide Vittori is up into 4th place, in that as well. He is indeed. So it's Benito, Stern, Dallara, Vittori, and then Na and Matos, I think. Yeah, Na and Matos. First lap coming to a close. Benito still leading from Stern. That's how they stand after just 1 minute of racing. But how is that going to change when we get the slipstream down the start-finish straight? Stern will be getting a face full of it, as will Dallara. Benito moves across to cover it off, to break the toe. Weaves down the straight just to try to avoid giving Stern that wind block. And towards turn 1, no change between the top 3. They are so close though, less than a second gap between 1st and 2nd, and between 2nd and 3rd. As the Stern chases Benito and Dallara chases... and Vittori's made a mistake. Vittori spun from 4th, so Vittori drops to the back, I'm afraid. That puts Na through to 4th, and Matos through to 5th. Actually, come to think of it, Vittori and Na were running right together on the road, so I'm not sure if that was a mistake on Vittori's part or whether they made contact. It may still have been a mistake on Vittori's part. I'm not sure. I didn't see it, so no use in speculating. But anyway, he drops to the back. Na is back through into 4th position as it stands. Now, Dallara is very close to the back of Stern. Stern dropping a little way off the back of Benito, as we expected to happen. Towards the end of another lap of racing they go. What can Dallara do about lining up Stern? He's less than half a second behind him as they come onto the start-finish straight. This is probably close to attacking range. Benito sets the first lap of the race. Through turn 1 we head, and Stern gets it turned in nicely. Dallara is still 0.6 of a second behind as it stands. So he actually lost time on that straight. I wonder if Stern set it up for supreme straight line speed, or whether that was also a legacy of the slipstream of Benito's car up in front. Because although Benito is now over a second ahead of Stern, slipstream can sometimes extend to a few seconds back. It's less effective unless you're up close though. Now what can Dallara do about setting up Stern? He needs to keep putting pressure on Stern. That's all he can do in the remaining 7 minutes of the race. Make sure that Stern doesn't feel safe. If Stern doesn't feel safe, then he's going to have more of a chance of making mistakes and potentially dropping behind Davide Dallara in 3rd position. Onto the start-finish straight again. Here comes the slipstream. Dallara less than 0.6 of a second behind him, crossing the start-finish line. The gap remains fairly stationary. It's about what it was last lap, although Stern's lap was slightly quicker than Dallara's. He's pulling away ever so slightly. Still not that much though. It's still not a comfortable margin by any means. Also close are Nara and Matos over 4th position. They're right together on the road, and Matos gained half a second on that last time around. So up towards the end of the lap, and Dallara will just be begging for the straight to come again every single time. He wants to spend as much time on that straight as he possibly can, because that is his chance of getting past Stern. Actually, come to think of it, you can't really make mistakes in a straight line. So never mind. I think his best opportunity is probably if Stern makes a mistake through this final corner coming onto the pit straight. That would almost undoubtedly give Davide Dallara a chance to attack, a chance to challenge. Another fast lap for Enzo Benito, 1:10.885. That is blistering. Goodness me. The only way he could be more fast is if he didn't eat for several days. That is an awful pun, and I apologise. Towards the end of another lap of racing, less than half of the race to go, 5 minutes, well 4.5 now, and still, oh, Stern did lock up there. Stern had a little lock up, but still Dallara not able to get past him, about 0.9 of a second behind him. Also Matos chasing that, about half a second behind him. Those are the gaps at this point in the race. Need to get creative here. Dallara needs to get creative with his driving and with his overtaking if he's going to have a chance of passing Stern. However, he did make a mistake there through that last corner, and he's dropping back now. So time being lost. Benito sets another fast lap of the race. Meanwhile, Matos got very close to the back of Na there and then dropped off a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if he went for an attack on the entry to the final corner, and that compromised his exit. So the gap between those two, 0.7 of a second just over, and that appears to be the closest gap on the road. Meanwhile, we've lost Davide Vittori. He's retired from this race, not entirely sure why that is. But yeah, unfortunately, he is our first retirement from either of these races. In fact, it's been a relatively clean couple of races. Not that I want to curse anything, but anyway. Now made a slight mistake coming towards the final corner there. He dipped 2 wheels into the grass. He's going wide. Oh, sorry, that's not the final corner. That's towards the final sector. And that's going to allow Matos to get even closer to his rear end. These two could definitely switch before the end of the race. I certainly wouldn't put it past Matos to get through here. Onto the straight, Matos struggling to keep with him on the turn-in. And he's going to get a terrible, terrible run down the straight here. It just looks as if he lost grip and understeered mid-corner. And that's what Na likes to see. And that's going to be so frustrating for Miguel Matos. Only running 4th and 5th out of the 5 drivers. Still remaining in the race, and Matos gets over the grass. That was close. That was very close indeed. Managed to keep control though. You often see grass bumping drivers up in the air or spinning them around, especially when it's wet. Luckily it's not wet today. Actually, we've never had a wet race with World Pro Racing because the Assetto Corsa simulation doesn't simulate wet weather. But anyway, Miguel Matos still chasing Dekel down, trying to force him into a mistake, but unfortunately it seems making more mistakes himself. That does tend to be the case when you're running behind another car, because you get that turbulent edge is making your aerodynamics unreliable, just really throwing you off your stride at every possible opportunity. We're going to have one more lap after this one, I think, for Enzo Benito. It's been a dominant race for him so far, and he just needs to bring it home for one more lap after this one. Decolnar's running wide, meanwhile. Miguel Matos is going to have an attack, I think. He's got right onto the back of him, taking a look to the outside, having a slight lockup, going for the switchback. He's got a much better run out of the corner. He needed to cut to the inside there, though, and Na wasn't allowing him the space. Goes for the switchback again. Na runs wide, Na runs off. But keeps the place, and there's contact! Around goes Na. Matos went for a dive. They touched on the entry, and Decolnar has spun out of 4th position. Onto the final lap now go the leaders, and I think Stern's made a mistake because Dallara is now within a second of him again. We could have a fight for second on the final lap of the race. Indeed, on that last lap, Dallara was 0.4 of a second faster than Stern. So we could have a final lap duel for second place. But Enzo Benito, what a drive he has had in both races. He was challenged in race 1 as Stern went through to the lead, but he's been completely unchallenged in race 2. He's leading by almost 5 seconds on the final lap of the race. Here he comes up towards the final sector of the course. He's a champion in the F1 esports scene. He did very well in the Race of Champions. He's doing a great job in his real life racing series as well, the Griiip G1 series. He's also been racing a KTM Crossbow in the Italian KTM Crossbow Cup, and now he exits the final corner to continue his winning streak and win yet again with the Griiip G1 series. He weaves from side to side and crosses the line to win. Who's going to be second though? It's going to be very, very close. It's going to be a drag race to the line between Stern and Dallara in his slipstream, and it's just about going to be Yaron Stern by just 0.213 seconds. Stern claims second, Dallara is third. Fourth is going to be Miguel Matos after that collision late on in the race, and I believe that they are under investigation for the stewards. Matos provisionally takes 4th position, crosses the line. Decolnar is going to take 5th position, almost 10 seconds back, just under 10 seconds back in fact. And that is the order of the finishes. Of course, we had a DNF, which was Davide Vittori, but what a double victory for Enzo Benito. Wins that race by 5 seconds, over 5 seconds there. And how do you win by 5 seconds in just a 10-minute race? Absolutely fantastic for Enzo Benito. And my apologies. What a couple of races that has been. We now have a couple of drivers in for some interviews. Let's start with the driver who finished second in both races, Yaron Stern. Hey there, Yaron.
Hi.
Hey there. So, Yaron, second in both races, second in both qualifying sessions, second in both practice sessions, if I remember correctly. I can imagine it's quite frustrating always being second best to Enzo. Do you think you could have done anything more today?
To be honest, not really. I don't think any other drivers in the grid can really compete Enzo. We are all complete different levels. Like Enzo is being professional racing driver, simulator racing driver for all of his life, and you can't really learn it in 3 days since they announced the track. So I don't think I can do much better than this, and my goal at the moment is just finish seconds behind him every race.
So I take it you're quite pleased with your performance then, to be able to win both races today. You are effectively best of the rest.
Yeah, something like that. You can say it like that. I'm not as pleased as I should. I did few mistakes in the last 2 laps of the second race, and I think that I could have done a little bit better. But yeah, overall, I'm quite pleased.
It was close though. You really had to defend from Davide going to the line in the end. Did you think he was going to catch you at all?
It was in the mirrors, but I wasn't paying too much attention to him. I just had some stupid mistakes in the last 2 laps, and in the last lap, when we drag raced to the start finish line, I only defended to try to move out of the slipstream, so he can't gain any advantage on me on the straight, and it worked. But besides that, I didn't really defend too much during the race.
Well, congrats anyway on your double podium. You did a great job today, and good luck for the remainder of your Griiip campaign this year.
Thank you very much. See you next time.
No problem. So that was Yaron Stern, who finished second in both races, a double podium for him. But if we're talking about doing the double, we have to introduce Enzo Benito, our double race victor, our double pole sitter, and, well, doubly excellent. Hello, Enzo.
Hey guys, hello.
So, Enzo, 100% excellent. You only didn't lead one lap today. That's a pretty impressive record, to be honest.
I forgot to turn mirrors on for the first race, as I was just hot lapping before and practice and qualifying, so I didn't pay attention to it. And then as the race started, I realized that I had no mirrors and I forgot the button of on the keyboard. So yeah, was really being careful to Yarin. I didn't know really which if he was inside or not. So yeah, I was being careful, but yeah, it was a nice overtake also from him.
That explains why you went wide at turn 2. I see. Well, anyway, you fought your way back through using the slipstream, and from that point on, you were long gone. Just talk us through the overtake first. And did you think that you needed to get through soon, otherwise he could potentially run you to the end, or were you always sure that you could get him?
Well, draft didn't seem to be that strong, so I had to be really close before the exit of the last corner. But yeah, no, I mean, I know I have a bit of an advantage over the guys on the simulator. Also, in terms of I mean, confidence and experience in general. I mean, it's been my job, so I was not too worried about it. But Yarin has been doing great since he doesn't drive simulator that much. I was actually surprised. I mean, him and David are not so far. I mean, if half a second or something, not even sometimes. So yeah, they're doing a great job.
You had a very tense moment in race 1 as well with a back marker, and we know that Davide has received a penalty for that. But yeah, goodness me, that almost threw your race away.
Yeah, no, I mean, if the others don't drive simulator that much, Davide doesn't do it at all. I think this might be his third time on a simulator or so. I know. I mean, yeah, I was expecting it. I mean, I know Davide he doesn't do it on purpose. I'm sure he's just not very confident with it. But yeah, that was a risky moment. Luckily, I had some gap, so I could escape it very quickly without any problems. Yeah.
Well, it definitely had my heart in my mouth. But anyway, race 2 was a bit more straightforward. You took pole with an absolutely blistering lap time, and went on to lead every single lap. Do you have anything more to say about that?
And no, I mean, I had to in qualifying this time. I went to the menu and put the mirrors on, so my start was much better.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and no, I was just feeling good. Like it's a fun car. It's somewhat a fun track, and yeah, no, I mean, yeah, just went to the finish line without many problems.
Well, it was a fantastic race from you, as well, whatever the case, a great 2 races. In fact, you did the double in terrific style, and thanks for the interview, and good luck for the remainder of your season.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
So that was Enzo Benito. We also interviewed Yaron Stern, of course, and I should hand back over now to Adrian Figallo to close off this broadcast.
So thank you, Caitlin, for being with us. I would like to thank, obviously, Griiip for this round 3 and all the drivers for being here, all our sponsors, including Fiverr. World Pro Racing will be with you now with round 4 of the Griiip Virtual Series very soon. The dates are there. We'll announce them online. Thanks to Justin for our broadcast and tech director. Thanks for following us, and be with you soon.
A really good race, really fun. I managed to reach the second place.
For me, the G1 Series is really how racing should be done. It's the best place to race professionally, but still keeping close control over the costs.
Driving the G1 is amazing because it's a really powerful car. It's really easy to drive, so you feel immediately connected with the car.
La macchina G1 è una macchina estremamente competitiva, anche messa a confronto con le altre categorie, più veloci di un Formula Renault e di un Formula 4.
The braking performance is amazing as well. It's a really good car. I enjoy driving it.
The technologies that Griiip provides me is what makes the series so special. I can access all my data at all times.
And I can also compare the data to other drivers, so I can find my weak points, but also my strong points, and you can improve a lot on the track.
L'altra tecnologia estremamente importante e innovativa è quella relativa alla visibilità, in cui i fan non solo possono seguire la gara live, ma possono seguire il loro pilota preferito grazie ai camera car, grazie alle videocamere che sono installate su ogni vettura.
One of the most unique things in the G1 series is the virtual races.
For every race, we actually race in the same track with the same drivers. When we get to the track, we can get the best out of it.
It's the only series that combines both virtual races and real races in the scoring system.
La G1 Series è un campionato estremamente interessante per tutti quei piloti che vogliono passare dal karting alla monoposto.
For the cost of a karting season, the G1 Series is one of the best places to improve my formula skills before moving on to next levels.
It was truly an amazing year, and I just can't wait for next season.
It took 5 days to get client feedback. Now James only has 5 hours until launch. With Fiverr, it only took him 5 minutes to find Stephanie. Fiverr. Connect to a freelancer in under 5 minutes.